Yep, we got an economic crash, and Hitler was so upset about the economy, he decided to peace out from existence. Hello everybody, my name is YujimboXD, and welcome to the channel. And today we're back with more mods for Hearts of Iron 4, and we returned from the realm of high fantasy into the realm of, well, I guess just regular fantasy, because today we have the sun shining on the world. Just really rolls off the tongue. Or the What If the Axis Won World War II mod. So this is another post-World War II mod that takes place in 1950. It's kind of a similar premise to the New Order, but this takes place 12 years earlier, and the world is quite a bit different. So let's look at our key players. We have some old familiar faces and some new ones, like this fellow. Why would you beat Stalin in a war and then leave him alive and in charge of Russia? He's too dangerous to be kept alive. But it's not like Mr. Schmittler was one at making good decisions. But we're not going to play as either of those two chaps. I think today we'll be looking at Italy, because we haven't had a good Italy run in a while, and I've never given Mussolini his time to shine. So we'll give Mr. Peschetti a chance. You know what I'm talking about? Peschetti! Italians love Peschetti. So we'll give Mussolini his time in the sun, and we'll take a look at Italy. So there is no choice for historical options, so let's just get into it. So we have our usual blurb from the devs. Hey, they even have some partner mods, even some we're familiar with, like Second Sengoku. And I don't usually spend a lot of time on these pages, but this one has a ton of information on it. Not only does it have all new features laid out nicely for you, it even has a focus tree guide for every nation that goes into detail about how you should do each path. So this is probably one of the nicest start screens I've ever seen in any mods. I really like this. Knowing how these routes work ahead of time will save you a ton of time. So I already like this mod. So here we are in Italy. Long story short, after our team won World War II, we said smell you later to the Nazis and formed our own faction. So as you can see, the state of the world after we won was Germany got all their Lebensraum, France remained butchered, and the US exploded into multiple states. I'm sure that won't devolve into a civil war at some point. And we have Big China. In either case, here we are in Italy, the only one of the victors of the Axis who aren't complete crap outs at this point, according to the lore. We still control all of our African colonies. We got the Suez, and we even got a bit of the Balkans on our team. And let's take a look at the focus tree. It's a small focus tree, but it will get bigger as time goes on, once we start making some important decisions about who should be in charge. So we'll start with our first focus. Baby craves an empire. And another new feature they've added is this automatic research system, which I guess if you found research too complicated, you could use. But I find this system to be even more complicated than just simply clicking on the things I want. So I'll just stick with good old-fashioned button clicking. Besides, why would I want the AI clicking the buttons for me? Clicking the buttons is one of the few things that brings me joy in life. And let's get our spy agency. It needs an appropriate name, so we'll call it the Peschetti Patrol. They're always on the hunt for carbohydrates. Let's take a quick look at the research tree. As you can tell, it's similar to the vanilla tree, except they've changed the layout a little bit. But the main feature is we'll get access to some technology that'll give us some bigger bang for our buck. Also, we can do nerd stuff like software engineering. And this is the first mod I've ever seen that has multiple tiers of transport truck and support equipment. So we have some lore. It seems fascism is falling out of fashion. Well, we invented fascism, so it's up to us to keep it cool. How does fascism stay hip and relevant to the kids these days? Maybe we can lure them in with fascism-styled Crocs. And it looks like Hitler was shot and put in a coma. Oh, never mind. He's fine. And what does it take to actually kill this guy? It's like he and Fidel Castro have some kind of crazy cosmic plot armor that stops them from getting assassinated. And we have a policy screen here that allows us to prop up our economy with political points, but it does appear to be a bit bugged. And I don't know if that's a version history problem, but I can't get the version of Hearts of Iron that is supported by this mod. It is not available. I can only get the version before and after it. But I believe these numbers are supposed to indicate literacy rate and industrialization rate. So I'm pretty sure that's what all that means. And now Schmittler's stepping down and putting Goebbels in charge. What kind of Germany will it be? I don't know, but I can't imagine it'll be a better one. So we've reached the bottom of our first focus tree, and we can either choose to go with Balbo, who was a Italian aviator and general, and in our timeline, he was ultimately shot down by his own men, very much like Stonewall Jackson. But we don't want a plain guy, we want a trained guy, so we'll stick with Spaghetti Man. Alright, so at the beginning of the game, we were warned that we would have to fight a civil war, and it looks like the power struggle has begun, and we can now spend our political points to try and get support over these regions, which I imagine during the Civil War will start as our territory if we get them to support us. So we can increase support in individual territories that aren't green. So we need to get all these provinces looking a shade of Luigi. We also need the military and the colonies on our side so we can boost support with them as well. We've had first focus tree, but what about second focus tree? So now we can start boosting our popularity in the nation and trying to secure support in the upcoming Civil War. I guess it was the right call sticking with Mussolini because Balbo's corrupt. Hey, we may be a fascist, but at least we're not corrupt. I would never stoop so low. Invading innocent nations? Absolutely. Stealing from the government? Never. And it looks like we have a strike. We could either lose a ton of influence or a ton of stability and war support. So why not split the difference? And look, they even have super events that change portraits. That's new. I haven't seen that before. Uh-oh, Hitler's yelling. That can't be good. He sounds upset. But I mean, then again, when isn't he? Yep, we got a economic crash. And Hitler was so upset about the economy, he decided to peace out from existence. And the Second American Civil War broke out. Who knew in a mod where America's all disjointed that there would be an American Civil War? I'm just kidding. We love war over here in America. And it looks like the French colonies have collapsed? I can't tell. We just have Owen Wilson over here with wow. So, not sure what this event is. And the countdown to the Civil War is almost done, but I have seemed to have flipped pretty much all of Italy onto my side, and I even have the military and the colonies as well. So I don't know what's actually going to happen, but I basically dumped all my political points into converting Italy over to my side. So I'm not sure if that's what you're supposed to do, but I did it anyways. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I didn't even have to do anything, and it just immediately ended, I think. Yes, it did end. So basically the Civil War fired, and they immediately want a peace agreement because we control like 90% of Italy. So let's agree, and we'll get to annex all their pieces. Wow, that was one heck of a civil war. I don't know if that's what's meant to happen, or if I'm just so good at clicking buttons, I prevented myself from having to actually fight that civil war. And with that, we have victory in the Civil War. Good work, boys. Although we do have a bunch of internal problems to deal with now, but we do get our own super event. Now let's see if we can get our cool dreams of an empire together before we kick the bucket like Mr. Hitler did. And while we were busy not fighting ourselves, I guess Spain took the opportunity to seize Gibraltar off us. I see you, Franco. You think just because you're wearing sunglasses I don't recognize you? Not cool. I thought we were fascist bros. Well, it was so nice we did it thrice. Here's our third focus tree. Looks like we're rebuilding a bit and reassuring our allies that we haven't completely exploded. However, when we did finish the war, it did clear all of our production queues and remove like all of our ship designs. So I don't know what that's about, but who needs a navy anyways? I certainly avoid using it. Oh wow, it completely reset us. It even got rid of our spy agency. Basically a whole new nation now. The only thing it didn't reset was the techs. Holy cow, we did get a ton of equipment though, so let's beef up our army. Well, what should we call our new spy agency? You had Mom's spaghetti, but what about Dad's spaghetti? And now we can decide what to do with Balbo. Well, I don't feel it's necessary to punish him because we didn't really actually have to fight him, so we'll let him just go back to work. Next time, just stick with the planes instead of trying to overthrow the government, you little rapscallion. And now we have to decide the fate of Ciano, the monarchist supporter. Once again, he's family. I think we'll just go for a little fishing trip on a boat, like you do when you're family. Well, we can recruit our first spy for our new spy agency, and I think we need a real psycho in there. And we got Bulgaria back on our team. Welcome back. But I swear to God, if you ever try to leave me again, I will break your legs. All right, and with that, I have all my colonies back on Team Italy. We're almost back to where we started a year ago. All right, focus tree number 4. Looks like we have some more rebuilding and some army reforms to do. And we have a choice. Do we want to militarize our economy or be a bunch of cowards and abandon it and go for more of a colony focus? Well, I'm not completely boring, so I'm gonna go with the military choice. And I do seem to have a bit of an issue now. I can't continue the focus tree because I have to be in a faction with the North African colonies. But as you can see, I already am. So I don't know what the problem is here. Just like any time these mods are busted, I just allow myself to cheat. I don't really consider it cheating. I just call it a course correction. All right, we had not 3, not 4, but 5 focus trees, but this is the final one, and it does give us some options to finally expand and maybe reconquer some lost territory. And we have 2 choices when it comes to our new political focus. We can go back to the old ideas and form a coalition with the rest of the socialists, but I didn't fight a world war and a fake civil war not to be the hero of the story, so we're gonna make Mussolini the hero. We will make him our new Caesar. Well, before we get into our big wars, I think the Pope has had a free run for a few too many centuries, so it's time to bring him back into the fold. We could use all 1,000 of that manpower, and I'm sure that manpower of decrepit old priests will be useful to our army. Useful as decoys. And I think it's time we get around to reconquering Gibraltar. Would you really trust this man to control the entrance to the Mediterranean? And Spain said no, unsurprisingly, so I guess we'll just have to do this my way. Which is good, because after that dud of a civil war, I'm spoiling for a fight. And it looks like the French state wants to get involved. That's alright, if they do get involved, then we don't have to navally invade Spain. So it makes my life easier. Alright, here we go. Our first actual war of the night, and it's against southern France and Spain. I've got a pretty sizable air force, and let's see what a general push does. I seem to massively outnumber them. Oh yeah, we are just absolutely clobbering them. Our mechanized divisions can just completely outrun them. Ah, and it forced a white peace with France. Well, that's annoying that it manually forced a white peace. I guess I do have to naval invade them then. All right, we have our naval invasion plan done, and we have their cipher, so let's do it. Make sure to actually use their cipher. There we go, made our landing. Now time to bring in everyone. And there, we even got some troops encircled while we were waiting to bring the reinforcements over. Got the troops over, and we're starting to push now. And I just have everyone set to full aggressive. Be free! Go retake Hispania for me. Hey, guess what, everyone? Vietnam's reunited, apparently. Now we get to listen to this banger. No exaggeration, that was like 3.5 minutes long. And there we go, another forced peace conference with the AI. And now Spain looks like this. Nice and border gory. But we did get our Gibraltar back. Well, what else can we get up to? Well, we got these new war plans that we can just start attacking people willy-nilly with. So let's go after the Duchy of Italia. I don't like them stealing my name. Yeah, they had like 2 divisions, that was easy. Well, what do we do next? I guess we could fight Germany for no reason. So let's do that. They're in a huge faction. I'm sure this will go well. All right, the war has started. They've pulled France in and a few of their other allies. But as you might recall, France just lost a war very recently to me and has very few troops on their border. So I think that is the soft underbelly we need to go for. And while we're at it, since we've completely lost our minds, why don't we just declare ourselves the Roman Empire? Doesn't that face just scream regal emperor? And you know what? Let's call the whole gang in. Y'all have like 4 divisions each. I'm sure you'll do something. Go fight Turkey. Oh, we still have the French cipher too. Let's use that. Although it does appear to be mostly Germany trying to keep them alive now. Slowly making our way to Paris, and we've already made it partway into Germany. And hey, look at that. We're now the Roman Empire, and we got a spiffy-doo flag. Bow down, you European savages. Your august rulers have returned. Also, we bullied our colonies to give us a bunch of stuff. Starting to make decent breakthroughs now. There we go. France is finally down. Slowly chipping away at their allies. And yeah, this war got bloody very quickly. Racked up 4 million kills on both sides in under a year. Oh, thank God. That was way more painful than I expected it to be. All right, I don't care. I'm just annexing everything. I don't want to think about this. And yeah, I won't have a hard time doing that because my war score is enormous. All right, and there we have it. The Roman Empire, kind of reborn. Mostly. We got like 80% of it, but that's good enough. And it is the end of our focus tree. So, final thoughts on the mod. I really enjoyed it. I thought the focus trees were really well done and led to some exciting gameplay. I was worried that that this was going to be a clone of the New Order, but it was nothing like that. Only downsides, I will say, was there were a few bugs in this for what I think is supposed to be a full release version of this, and some of the features like the economy focus and the auto research, while interesting, I didn't really use or see the need for. Just felt like a superfluous feature. But either way, I did enjoy this mod, so I would recommend it. So that is where we'll leave it off for tonight. So if there are any other mods or games you'd like to see, let me know down in the comments below. So now I'm going to go enjoy myself some Piscetti in the vomitorium. Good night.